Hi, I'm Miss Smith, and I'm married to Ammon Smith, who's amazing, and we have 4 amazing kids and 1 on the way. I've been teaching English for 10 years. I started teaching English in the Learning Center at Southeastern Oklahoma State University when I was 18 years old. When I finished my bachelor's degree, I moved directly over to the English department of the same school and started teaching Comp 1 and Comp 2. If you've never had an online class before, you're probably feeling a little intimidated. So this video is meant to be a class tour for all of you, not just the ones that are new to the setting, but to help you know what to expect and how the class is structured throughout the semester. Even though this is an online class, it's designed to incorporate every element that you would get in a face-to-face class. So first, let's think about what a face-to-face class has. A lot of fear that students experience when entering an online class is a result of feeling like some basic elements of a face-to-face class are not going to be present in the online class. For one, a face-to-face class has a routine schedule. You have to get yourself up and go to class at a certain time, so many times a week, so you have this schedule set up for you. 2, you have lectures from the instructor where you can see and hear the instructor and other things going on, and a lot of you are auditory and visual learners, and that's really important to you. 3rd, you have some interaction with other students, whether that's just hearing the other students' ideas or working in group projects. It's not a completely solitary experience. 4, of course, you have homework. That's one that you would probably rather take out. But in a face-to-face class, of course, you have homework, and that usually consists of reading assignments. And last, of course, you're going to have some assessments. In an English class, that would typically be expected to be essays and maybe some quizzes. This class is going to incorporate all of those things, and I'm about to show you how. So first, how are we going to get set up that routine schedule that you're used to with a face-to-face class? You've probably already explored Blackboard enough to notice the links on the side, week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4. Every week you're expected to do certain tasks, and all of the folders are exactly the same. Lectures, reading, participation, assessment, and Q&A. Now, we'll talk about these a little bit more in just a minute, but lectures, for example, are the same lectures that you would get in going to a face-to-face class. You're responsible for watching these. You're responsible for the reading assignments. The participation is where you'll complete blogs or discussion boards, which you'll respond first by Thursday, and then you'll respond to peers by Saturday. So you have some exact expectations there to get into a certain routine, and then the assessment has to be done by Saturday, and that'll make sure that you did all of the reading and the lectures. So every week, it may sound like a lot at first, but it's really not, and it's exactly the same thing you would do in a face-to-face class, especially in my face-to-face class. So some of this, the reason this is red is because I don't have it posted yet. You'll do this. Represents basically a Monday, a Wednesday, and a Friday. If you're in a Monday, Wednesday, Friday face-to-face class, so you'll watch the videos. You'll do the reading assignments, the same ones that you would do in a face-to-face class. You'll participate with other students just like you would in a face-to-face class, and you're going to have to figure out your routine. You can do this at 5 in the morning, you can do this at midnight, you can say 2 o'clock, but it is important to work out a routine to be able to get all of these things done, and when it has to be done every week is exactly the same. Every week by Thursday, you'll have to have completed the reading assignments because you'll have to do a discussion question or a blog. Every week by Saturday, you'll have to respond to other students in the discussion board and the blog, and you'll have to take the test. Now, you can do those early if you want. You can get as far ahead as you want, as long as everything is posted. However, you can't do any of it late. In fact, after 1 week, the link will disappear and it'll just be gone forever. So you've got to keep up with it. You've got to get on yourself on a schedule, just like in a routine face-to-face class. So how are we going to have lectures in an online class? Well, let's take a look. Basically, it's the beauty of YouTube. Sometimes you'll hear directly from me, and sometimes you'll hear from whoever I picked off of YouTube. For example, and these often are very short, 1 minute and 23 seconds for this one. Here with writing anxiety, this is one that I created. So writing anxiety, you'll hear my voice just like you're hearing my voice right now. This is the handout that this is based on. You do not actually have to read that, but it's there as a convenience if you'd like to. Every week you'll have that same folder. So essay organization, you'll hear from her again. Essay building blocks is me talking. A lot of times I have some notes in here because some of these I didn't make this semester. They talk about assignments that you're not going to actually do, but the information around that assignment is still valuable. So until I get those things remade, you'll have to deal with just having my notes to know what to ignore. But this gives you the opportunity to see something and to hear something. So instead of just giving you a page of things to read, you can still see and hear someone explaining the concepts to you. The interaction in this course with your other students will come with the participation folder, where you'll go and complete blogs and discussion questions. Now in these, first you'll respond yourself, then you'll read other students' comments and you'll respond to them. Yes, it's a little different than sitting in the class. You're not going to hear them speaking, but you are still going to be communicating with them. Now, the blogs are informal, and you can vent, you can even use emoticons, you can post pictures, you can do whatever you want to an extent here. This is to resemble what would occur in class. In class, you're not always going to have everything perfectly structured. You're not always going to have perfectly complete sentences, although you would want to try to do that. But in general, this is more informal, where you're just talking about the reading and what you understand or what you loved or hated about it. You're free to use first person. You're free to do a lot of things here. The discussion board, you'll want to write a more formal response. Here you will want to make sure that you have some structure to it. You'll want to put some thought into it. You shouldn't really use first person. You should work on your writing skills in this opportunity. Now in both, you're going to respond to other students. So as you write, remember that people are going to read what you're writing. And once you're done, go and read and see what other people have had to say. Find people that you would like to respond to for both of those, and that'll be done by Saturday. You'll get to know other people this way. Now you'll also have some other types of assignments, specifically during the weeks that your essays are due. Your participation will be a little bit different. It'll still use the discussion board, but what you'll be doing is working on a rough draft. You'll post a rough draft, and then you'll do different things for each paper, but other students will help you peer review your essay, and that'll be some more interaction. So you will get to know students, maybe not as well as you would in a regular class, but you will still be interacting with other students and getting to know them quite a bit. Now, homework is a given. You wouldn't get out of that in anything, especially in an online class. You're going to have some reading. The reading is specifically going to be articles out of the Conscious Reader that you'll use to do the discussion questions, the blogs, and ultimately your essays. Now, the homework will be found in the reading folder each week. Oh, and I don't have it posted there. In that folder, you'll see what you're going to read from the Conscious Reader. You'll also sometimes have links of places that you'll need to go. These are important because what you find in this link will be on the weekly quiz. So sometimes you'll have only the Conscious Reader. Sometimes you'll have something from the Conscious Reader as well as from your handbook, your grammar handbook. Sometimes you'll have links to other things. Whatever this folder says that you need to read is very important because you will either use that in a discussion question or a blog, or it will be on the quiz. The assessment folder is probably the folder that makes you a little bit nervous. Of course, you're going to have assessments in any class. This class will use a weekly quiz to make you accountable for what you're learning each week, and you'll have 4 major essays. You'll also have a final, which will be accumulation of the quizzes. Now, the quizzes, in week 1, you'll have all the things that you read and the lectures. In week 2, you'll have all the things you read plus the lectures, plus a few questions from week 1. In week 3, there will be a few questions from weeks 1 and 2, and so forth throughout the entire semester. This mostly applies to grammar and MLA format. Those are the things that you're going to see repeated on future quizzes, because those are things you really need to retain. You don't want to just take a quiz, get it over with, and be done. At least that's not what I want you to do. So you need to remember those things. To take those quizzes, all you'll do is go to the assessment folder and click on the link for the quiz that week. To turn in your essays, which are due in weeks 4, 8, 12, and 16, so once a month, you'll have an essay due. You'll go to the assessment folder again. You'll have your quiz, and you'll also have the essay. Now here is where you'll find the instructions for the essay. You should go ahead and read that as soon as possible. Don't put it off. Those are your options for the essay. You have several options, all of them based on the reading from the Conscious Reader. To turn that in, this is where you'll go to simply click there and you'll submit it as an attachment. That attachment needs to be Microsoft Word, not some other format, or I won't be able to open it. If I can't open it, I can't grade it, and you either get a 0 or it'll be counted late. One last thing that I want to mention is that over on the left where you have all your links, you have one that says Student Tools. When you click on that, you have a place that you can, if you're having a hard time figuring out Blackboard, you can actually see the roster, you can send emails to others. The one that I want to point out is My Grades. There's a few places you can get to My Grades. This is one of them. When you click on My Grades, it'll show you the grades that you have in the class so far, as far as the ones that I've graded anyway. Once a grade is posted, you can see it there, and you really need to keep up with your grades. If there's any problems, let me know, but you should be able to know how you're doing in the class at all times. Review the syllabus to see exactly what the weights are for each of the grades. I know I always have students that are very concerned with the amount of work and the things that you're doing. Remember that the essays are the most important. They're going to make up 70% of your grade in this class. So that is the focus. The other things are attendance-related grades, participation grades. The quizzes are worth the most, the discussion questions worth next, and the blogs the next. The blogs really are like you're sitting in class. If you're not there and participating, then you're not counted present at all. So keep that in mind for what you need to focus on the most. The essays are very most important, but keep up with your grades here. All of it does count. You need to do all of it, but stay focused and keep up with where you're at in the class.